What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked. It's the world's #1 Xbox show for September 6th, following up Labor Day. It's episode number 312. Coming up on this week's show, we're talking about L.A. Noire. Yeah. Digging that one up from the archive. It's not 2011. There's a very good reason we're going to talk about L.A. Noire, so stay tuned for that. Plus, Crystal Dynamics has a not-so-secret Marvel Avengers game in the works, and some job postings unearthed by the NeoGAF sleuths have given us some hints as to what that game will be all about. Plus, if you've been waiting for mouse and keyboard support on Xbox One, got some good news for you there. Plus, a hint about where Call of Duty, specifically when Call of Duty, may be heading to in subsequent installments after this year's World War II version. So, with that, I'm Ryan McCaffrey. We've got the Shark, Sean Finnegan.
Jump. Hello, everyone.
Fresh off of a
back from PAX.
rough night's sleep. You played a lot of Destiny last night. We'll get to that in a second.
Totally.
We've got Brendan Tyrell.
Hello.
Of House Tyrell sitting in today. Always good to have you.
Thank you.
You're never going to escape.
Didn't they all die?
Just embrace it.
Shh, spoilers.
People three guys got mad about that.
The last time that I was on the show, I was like, well, not anymore, I guess. Yeah.
And Marty Sleva.
Hi.
Representing these two, representing Team Button-Down shirts versus
right.
Team T-shirts. If you're watching on video,
you dress to impress
on this side of the table. That's right. Yeah. I dress to depress.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, big thing this week. The juggernaut that is Destiny 2 has arrived. And I want to start. Marty, I know you've completed the campaign already.
I have. Yeah. I have a high light level. I've done a raid. Me and my Galahorn are married now.
Let's go to someone who's actually played.
I'm going to start it. I am very excited. But yes, Sean.
No, yeah, Sean. You were up late last night.
Yeah, I played for about 5 hours.
What are you thinking of Destiny 2 so far?
So far, so good, man. It's Destiny, except a lot more focused and more finely tuned. And all of the feedback that the audience gave them about the story and about the cinematics and about the characters the first time around seemingly has been addressed and in a really big, bad way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right with you. You know, I've been very public about not my criticism of Destiny 1. They did not hold me after the so-so story because I didn't want to grind my way up to raid time. And so I played my up to level 18 and then I was done. But so far, I just got to level 2. I guess story-wise, I won't tell you what that beat is, but more or less the prologue.
Right,
We can kind of call it the prologue. I'm really impressed with it so far as well. It's I feel like there's more story and more of a focus on story packed into the first probably hour and a half to 2 hours of the game than there was in most of Destiny 1's campaign.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you, man. Like, I think a lot of people, it didn't really resonate with them, the story in the first game. And this time they've really focused on that beat. And like you said, the first couple hours are so focused on setting up the conflict between the Cabal Red Legion and the Guardians. And some big stuff happens that I won't spoil, but I think you guys kind of all know from the trailers what goes on there. And all of that happens like in this very condensed chunk of time where basically you jump in and from the first like minute to the like second hour, you're basically in this huge conflict and trying to get like your bearings, and it's actually pretty cool.
It sounds like there's a bunch of like really small quality of life changes that make people look back at Destiny 1 and be like, man, there was a lot of BS we put up with and didn't realize it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. Like one of the big ones is they talked about it when we did the IGN first, but the new functionality of the directory works a lot better. Before, when you had to go from activity to activity or from destination to destination, you had to go from whatever planet you were on or wherever location you were into orbit. Then back into another activity, and just even loading from the destination to orbit and orbit to PvP or whatever activity took forever. Yeah. And now you can directly go from activity to planet to activity without having to go into orbit. It's really great.
You hit on something before we came on the air, Sean, that I wanted to get into because I actually came to about the same conclusion, but kind of I sort of had a different take on it. But and that's we both think there's a lot of Bungie / Halo DNA in this game. It's hard for me to even quantify, but just having played every single Bungie game since Halo 1, I mean, somebody on Twitter was like, well, have you played Pathways into Darkness and Marathon?
Have you played Oni?
I actually never played Oni, so I guess I haven't
Oni.
played every Bungie game ever. But
Fake Bungie fan.
Yeah, I know. I'm a poser. What can I say? But no, I really see a lot of Halo DNA in Destiny 2, even in those first couple hours, just from not only like the way the set pieces are presented, where your eyes are drawn upward to these like gorgeous skyboxes and set pieces that are typically in the sky or on the horizon, to the just even the way the encounters are, like it kind of has there is Halo in there, and I really appreciated that. It brought a smile to my face the whole time I was playing.
Yeah, and specifically like tone wise early on, I got a very distinct ODST feel. Again, not being, I'm going to try and keep spoilers to a minimum here, but again, in the trailers, this is a world without light. Basically, the city falls right in that first mission, and the 5 to 10 to 15. Actually, it's a little bit longer than that. Let's call it the first hour is you dealing with the fallout of that, and it's very downtrodden and very kind of despairing and hopeless, and you feel the weight of that on your shoulders as a guardian, and it's really cool because you got none of that emotional impact the first time around in Destiny.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's measured, you know? There's a long stretch in there where you're just kind of walking and there's this really somber cello playing in the background. And that whole opening scene, I think, is sort of Bungie trying to say like, hey, look, we addressed what you guys were talking about the story moments. Because at the end of Destiny 1, sorry if you haven't finished it yet, but like you get a pulse rifle and you have no answers and you have no idea what to do except to...
I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. You just, at that point, you're like, well, I guess now I start gearing up for the raid, which like you were saying at that point, you're just done. And so I think even in this first mission, you saw a lot of like moments where the game forces you into these set pieces where you turn a corner and you see like that vista on the horizon, like the burning city of New Mombasa, in the background that you would see in a Halo game, or just the world itself is happening around you rather than you trying to inject yourself into the story. And I think that's one of the big things that was missing in the first Destiny game. And
Totally.
I haven't played very far. I was going to wait for PC, but I think I'm going to pick it up because
got to be part of the conversation,
the
man.
hype,
Yeah.
the hype bike
Gotta get
is
in
just
there.
too strong.
I that was one thing I found a little disappointing as I played so much of the PC beta.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a lot of the PC version since we saw it at E3 or whatever. I am so sad about going back to 30 FPS.
I know.
On multiple occasions,
It's crispy.
on multiple occasions, I think on Unlocked and on Fireteam Chat, I said that I didn't think that Destiny was really the type of game that would benefit largely from having 60 frames a second. Oh boy, was I wrong. Like after tasting the 60 frames a second, it's so much nicer to have that like fluidity and responsiveness in the controls, and I'm just going to miss that.
Yeah, and I actually always felt Destiny was one of those shooters that it wasn't all about precision. It's about, movement and strategy and placement because you have all these abilities and, melee is such a heavy part of the experience. Going to PC, I always thought like, well, it's going to be, a little bit more akin to like a CSGO experience or like a very, very precise sort of shooter. It still felt like very much like Destiny, just faster and a little more crisp. You know what I mean? Like a little more fluid.
As a gameplay first person, like it's just kind of, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out a little bit on the best experience. There's stuff to be said about, having the game 2 months before the PC people get it. So in terms of being part of the discussion and kind of seeing the tweets of everyone playing all at the same time, like that's really, that experience is like something you probably can't replicate.
Right.
But in terms of, I think far and away when it comes down to it, the PC experience is probably going to be better, and that makes me a little sad.
Totally.
Because I love playing on Xbox and I love playing on my 60-inch plasma TV. Like that to me that is Destiny and it makes it super cinematic. But I think at some point I might have to move on over to PC if I'm going to take the game like very seriously.
Yeah. And like you said, like if you wait that month and a half, you miss the water cooler moment that we're having right now and that we've had this morning.
It just
and
kind of
later
sucks
on.
that they didn't launch side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I kind of get it. We'll probably get to it a little bit later in the show, but there's just a lot of things that are going on in the PC version that are different and need to be addressed differently. And I think Bungie is very focused on making that, like, making sure they do it right. Because if you launch shit wrong, if you try and, rush the PC experience out there, there's a great chance that it could just go really off the rails
especially
very
when
quickly.
this is the debut Destiny PC
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is your first impression for a lot of PC gamers
What-
who did not play it on any console.
Did Halo 4 come to PC?
No.
So when was the last time Bungie released a PC game?
Bungie never has.
Yeah.
It's always
sorry.
been-
I was
Since
just
the
thinking
Xbox.
Halo.
I mean,
sorry.
yeah,
Let me.
since, yeah.
Let's say Microsoft did PC
Okay,
versions of Halo 2, and I can't even. I
Halo
don't
1
think
had
there
one.
was one for Halo 3.
I think it was just Halo 1
I
and
think
2.
so.
I think you're right.
I remember
believe
there
it
was those
Halo 1 and
PC PC only maps for Halo
Yeah.
2, right? PC only
2.
multiplayer maps.
Halo. There were two for the Halo 2 Vista. 'Cause
Yes.
it was for Windows Vista.
Oh, I haven't thought of that one.
Hopping
in
in
a
the
while.
Wayback
Oh
Machine.
no!
Yeah, two maps that
Yeah.
were, and then Halo 1 PC
Yeah.
had 6 or 8.
Yeah, but that's been
Maps
over a
from
decade.
Gearbox.
So that's
Yeah,
a long time for a studio not to make.
But
PC.
yeah, Brandon, real quick before we move on from Destiny, the one other thing that you touched on that I wanted to bring up too is I saw this response a lot to my initial reactions to the game on Twitter. A lot of people were calling out, "Yeah, I really love the music," and this is Destiny 1 was kind of without Marty O'Donnell. This Destiny 2 absolutely is without Marty O'Donnell, but they've, he's in my opinion the best in the business, but they really have Bungie's done a great job on the score in the at least in those early moments. There's just a lot of sweeping emotional kind of score to back up what's going on screen.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if that carries over once, the narrative or the story of the game actually picks up.
Yeah.
And, you're thrust into those action positions, because when I think of the Halo music, it's all about that crunchy guitar, da-da-da-dun. But in Destiny, like, the only taste that I've had of it so far is, like I said, all that.
Crunchy
like,
cello?
Yeah, crunchy cello. It's all that, like, emotionally sweeping music in the beginning when you are experiencing.
Part of a balanced breakfast.
When you are experiencing, like, sort of the fall of the city, right? So I'm curious to see how it picks up. But right now, man, that music is so good.
I'm level 11 right now. I'm kind of past the first 3 main beats of the game.
Yeah.
I will say that the music does have like a big tone shift. Like it does get to a little bit more upbeat and kind of.
But it's still very prevalent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
far.
absolutely.
That's great.
Music plays like a really big part in all of the storytelling
good.
missions so far.
Good.
Love hearing that. Yeah, I am eager to keep going. And then, not to look too far ahead, but my final big question for Destiny 2, besides am I going to like the story this time, so far so good, is what leap will be required to go from end of story to beginning of raid?
I was just about to bring that up. Is I still think that there's a lot of people out there who don't see the wall that they're headed towards.
Yeah.
Where
don't do this to me.
yeah, like there is going to be. I'm already planning it out. Me and my fire team were talking about it yesterday. But just like we're already strategizing how to like what activities and missions and adventures and whatever to save based on the rewards you get in order to make that jump from light level cap to raid ready.
Jesus.
Yeah, because like what happens is you go through the campaign and once you finish it, you're not automatically raid ready. You have to do all this stuff.
Do
in order
do we know that? Is that a known fact at this point?
how the
it's
first-
never
that's how the first one
known.
worked.
Well, right, but
Yeah.
but again, we've talked about this before.
Trying to streamline it.
I was at the gameplay reveal event in LA, and Luke Smith came out and they straight up said, "Hey, 50% of our players ever experienced the raid," which was both amazing because you had to, work so hard to get to the raid, but also like, oh, we want all of our players to experience it. And then they offered no details as to how to bring that number close to 100%. So that gave me hope at the time that maybe they were going to do something. They had an idea in mind to get people like me across that chasm without having to.
Wasn't that their segue into the clan system? Maybe I'm misremembering. I could be 100%
No,
wrong,
well,
but I thought he said the social implications of the clan system were supposed to help you always have a party that
Well,
can get you
there
there.
are definitely systems they've integrated
The
into
buddy
the games.
system thing.
Yeah. That will help single players find groups in order to get to the raid. But the point still remains that as you progress through the campaign and you're acquiring all this gear, your power level is increasing. But by the time you hit the end of the campaign and start doing the regular day-to-day activities and such, there's this presumably a gap, the way there has been in every other Destiny pre-raid, that you have to jump in order to get raid ready. And even when basically you won't be let into the raid unless you hit a minimum power level. And strategizing. How big that chasm is, we don't really know. Like you said before, a lot of people in the first Destiny were turned off by the fact that the chasm was too big and there wasn't enough to do in the game that made it easy to get there. So it became super grindy and very tedious. I'm sure that they've done everything they can to make it not that, but the fact remains, like, the goal is still to give players something difficult and challenging and rewarding to do in order to progress. And I think
Are
that
you
that
saying
chasm's
that,
gonna
or
be
did
there.
Bungie say that?
What do you mean?
Is that Sean talking right now, or is that?
No, but no, that's the game. Like, any Destiny player will tell you, like, the goal is to make the grind
But
fun,
that
not
is
to
your
eliminate the
interpretation
grind.
of the game.
No, but
We
I
don't.
mean,
That's my point. Is
okay, yes.
The
Full disclosure, I'm not a dev. I don't know what their goals are.
Let's say that's exactly.
But I have
my
to
point.
speculate as someone who's put like 1,500
Right.
hours into it.
Yes, and
Jesus Christ.
history. Yes, history does offer a precedent.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. But my point is going up based off of what Luke said, and based off the fact that I cannot possibly be alone in this, in not wanting to do the grind. Now, spare me the tweets, because I totally get that. There are a ton of people out there, I've heard from them before, that are like, but Ryan, that's part of the game. The grind is like you're earning it. I
don't want to earn it.
No, I totally respect where you're coming from. My point is, give me, as a player who just wants to do the story content and then do the raid, which is widely regarded as the best aspect of Destiny. Yeah. Just give me one. Just give me one raid that I can jump right into after completing the story, and then subsequent raids that are released in expansion packs or however it's going to work. Make those the super high level, you got to go earn it, grindy things. Just give me one, because what you could do also from a design perspective, if you do that, I'm not a game designer, but this is just me spitballing at this point.
So Ryan, is this
hold
you
on.
speculating?
Yes,
Or
yes, it is. But I'm just saying, if you give me that one, I'm going to go through the story. Hopefully, I'm going to really enjoy the story. If you let me pretty much hop into a raid after that and be ready for that first raid, I might find it so awesome and get so hooked on it that then I go ahead and say, all right, now I am gonna do the grinds, and it may just endear more loyalty from your players if you just give them a taste of what that is without having to basically, walk the 40 days and 40 nights through the barren desert that is the grind fest.
But so here's the thing: is what if it was fun? The grind. What if you enjoyed doing it and you didn't feel like it was a grind?
That would help. But I just want to play the damn raid.
Yeah.
It is. I did get to play a taste of it in our original IGN first coverage of the first Destiny. I was in a room with Luke, and actually I was my raid group was Jason Jones and Luke and a bunch of other Destiny senior staff, and I was like, "Yep, we played about the first third of it," and I was like, "This is really cool." But then, when the game came out and I found out what it took to get there, it's like I don't have that time or interest to go through that. So all I'm saying, I'm hoping there's a middle ground here.
And I think, like I said before, I think that middle ground isn't eliminating the grind, it's making the grind fun. Like,
That would be
they've
a
integrated all these different activities and stuff that you're supposed to do regularly in order, after you finish the campaign, to get raid ready.
If they can make it fun and minimize it, like, please make it, because by all accounts, it's
Still a little against the minimizing part. I feel like you got to earn it, man. The raid is hard.
I respect that, but again, just give me one. Just give me.
I get it.
Give me
that
my
freebie.
Yeah, give me one raid, and then you guys, you hardcore guys, can have all the rest.
That's not a bad idea, man. Like a level 10 version of the raid. Because we remember in Destiny, the first game, the raid on normal mode was a different experience from the raid on hard mode. Not just because the numbers were bigger and the health bars were longer, but because there were different mechanics and different, berserk timers and all kinds of stuff going on. So maybe like a level 10 version so you can get that story. I mean, other MMOs have done this before.
Yeah.
A stripped down, smaller, easier version of that raid. So like, you know what? I know what happened story-wise at the end of the raid. I know the big monster fell and what that means
Or at least you get a sense
for the
of
world.
what it's like.
Yeah, and then you go back to the normal one where you have to finish the story, and that sets you up for strikes, which sets you up for nightfall, which sets you up for the raid. So maybe give you something smaller to taste, what the mechanics and the game mode is.
I actually like that idea. Mid-game raids or like lower-end raids. Everyone remember Van Cleef from World of Warcraft?
No.
Oh, yeah,
17 raid boss?
The first
great.
human faction raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Westfall or
At least
something.
that's
like
all
that.
I'm saying. You see where I'm coming from.
No, there's merit in that. Yeah, I just again I think that earning that and like that slow, methodical, not necessarily slow, that methodical sort of like inching your way towards getting better and better and improving your character over time and with play time is like a key and integral part of Destiny.
I guess my last point is I just think that it's possible to have both. I don't think it has to be one or the other. The noob, easy, wussy version of the raid for guys like me that don't want to put in the dozens of hours. Well, I think it's possible to have that and still serve the hardcore audience. I think Bungie's full of smart designers that can figure that out. I mean, I guess it's already done. We just we're all just waiting to see.
We know when it happens.
The decision's already been made.
If we had just started playing, we would have been done by now.
That's true. Yeah, we could be raid ready just from the beginning of this conversation if we'd been playing.
Well, thanks for
Potentially.
tuning in to Fireteam Chat.
Anyway, all right. So yeah, long story short, we're all very happy with Destiny 2 thus far. So kudos to Bungie for making at least a strong first impression. We'll see what happens going
Keep an eye
forward.
out for Destin's review, which is currently
Yes.
in progress.
Yeah,
Why he's not here.
It is why he's not here. He is almost literally living inside Destiny right now.
Sounds about right.
Destined in Destiny. That's how it goes. Marty, you were at PAX last weekend.
I was definitely the only one of the four of us at PAX. Sean was also at PAX.
Sorry, dude.
It's all good.
I'm not.
Talked enough about Destiny.
Yeah. It's your turn.
Well, I don't know which.
It
video
says here,
people
talk
go.
about Biomutant.
Yeah, no,
Marty?
Yeah, no. So we were up in Seattle at PAX West. I thought it was great. We had a bunch of panels, fan meetups, met a ton of Unlocked fans, which was super cool. And yeah, a couple Microsoft centric things there. One, we finally got to go hands on with Biomutant, which is super exciting. That was the game that was announced at right before Gamescom. It's THQ
By us.
Nordic. Yeah, no, it's by us. Being developed by Experiment 101, which is a new studio founded by ex-Avalanche Studios, so high-level folks who worked on Just Cause and Mad Max. In the game, playing like this 25-minute demo, it felt a little bit like it was showing you all of the elements that are going to be in the final game and then sort of tease what the open world is going to be like.
You mean like a vertical slice?
A little bit.
The bane of every
I don't
game.
even think it's going to be a vertical slice. I feel like it just very quickly was like, this is what melee combat's like. This is what range combat's like. This is what elemental combat's like.
It was like little scenarios set up.
Yeah, pretty much like little scenarios with hallways in between them. But the whole thing is it's an open world fantasy action RPG where you, right from the get-go, it's just character creator where you create a little like ferret, rat, raccoon thing.
It's rodents and mechs.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fantastic.
Rodents and mechs. And it's like mid-apocalyptic, but all, fantasy setting. The freedom in character creation I thought was super cool. You can make it as weird and ugly or small and cute as you want. And then the combat feels like it mixes hack and slash with slow-mo, like John Woo-esque gunplay.
Oh, really?
But also a lot of smart elemental things where you could you gain the ability to shoot moths at your enemies and they distract them, or control electricity, and there's sort of environmental
I'll
puzzles.
tell you, I watched, there was an 11-minute gameplay video, which maybe was presumably taken from that 25-minute demo you played. I got some Borderlands vibes from it, which I say in a good way.
There's parts where you fire your gun and like a little speech bubble that says
There's
"bam."
like a narrator.
Yeah. It definitely feels like the writing feels a little bit funny and tongue in cheek. But then I think the thing that sold me most in the game was talking to them and their sort of promise of what the open world's going to be like. And like Just Cause, like a huge emphasis on crazy vehicles with jet skis and hot air balloons and like a giant hand of a mech that you can control that sort of like acts as a spider.
That, like rotates over and fires missiles.
Yeah,
out
which
of
is
the
super
fingers.
cool.
Yeah.
And then kind of
From the
got
middle finger? Or?
I would imagine so.
From all the fingers.
Yeah,
or
from
the
all,
devil horn
or the gun finger.
Yeah.
This is the gun finger.
Actually, it was, now that you mention that, it was like the hand rotates and shoots like this, and like that is perfect.
Yeah. And then vibes of Fable, in that it's an open world game, but sort of you have a morality system, and you can choose. The whole game revolves around this tree of life that's dying, and you can choose to be a good guy and try to save it, or be a bad guy and just let the world burn around.
Is it actually Ori and the Will of the Wisps? If there's a tree
Yeah,
of
look
life
at this.
that's dying,
Yeah, it's just 3D Ori. It's totally fine.
that E3 tease was just a ruse. And this
yeah,
is the,
I love
this is
that.
The game.
Yeah, viral marketing.
I will say I didn't play the game, but I watched over your shoulder and Alana's as we captured the game. The part that really, really intrigued me was the demo kind of ends as soon as you get to the open world.
Yeah.
It's very much a tease, like in the proper sense of it. But like as soon as it opens up, it looks very vast and open and interesting, and it seems like a world I'd really want to get my go explore.
Pause on.
And
Yeah.
it just looks
I
different.
stopped myself
That's like one of the
short.
things. I think I read a preview. I think it was PC Gamer or something, where every time they refer to the character, they put in parentheses a different rodent with a question mark, like throughout the entire thing. They're like, and your meerkat.
Trash Panda?
Yeah. Yeah, but that was really cool. That was probably one of the games I was most impressed by.
And you were at the ID at Xbox
Yeah.
event, correct? But
Yeah.
Did you go as well, Sean?
Yeah, I was
What? So I know Cuphead was there. It's
Yeah.
always. And
I think at that point I was like, I'm done. Just I will play the game when we have it. Yeah.
I understand it. So what did you check out? What was good at the ID at Xbox event?
The game that always stands out to me, we've seen it a couple times now, is this game called Hello Neighbor, which again I haven't played, but Alana really likes, and I've watched you guys play it a bunch.
Yeah, and we actually just put up a Let's Play on the YouTube channel, which is
nice.
youtube.com/IGN Unlocked, and we're going to be doing Let's Plays
Yeah,
every
there's
Monday
content
morning.
on there now.
Every Monday morning. Alana's forcing us. She's a taskmaster.
Yeah.
So our first one of that is up. I'm very bad at that game. Spoilers.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I played it at E3, I think it was. Probably. I don't know, they all kind of blur together.
Yeah.
And I had a really hard time getting into it. And granted, like in a huge auditorium, coliseum,
Sure.
like full of 1,000 people all vying to get in there. Like you don't really have time to get in and sync with it. But like I just could not sync up what I was supposed. Like every time I turn the corner, you stop and then you turn around and his creepy face pops up in front of you.
Yeah.
I just felt like he had my number
Yeah.
from day one, and like there was
Yeah,
nothing
you
I
have to
could
be
do.
very patient, and I am very impatient.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's going to be like an intense kind of gameplay experience. Like you trying to like sneak through this
It's a home
house.
invasion simulator. So it's
Yeah,
like you're the
that's-
wet bandits trying
that's
to
the
kill
other
Kevin
thing.
McAllister. But Kevin McAllister's an evil old man.
See, I thought you were going in there. I thought you were going in there to rescue someone that he had already abducted.
I think there's like he's probably got some secrets. He's a weird dude.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
like different
He
levels
owns a
to
bunch
it.
of
That
bear
mustache
traps.
he's
Yeah.
got.
Like you think you're the bad guy, but really he's the bad guy, but really you're the bad guy.
Aren't we all the bad guy? That was cool. We got to play PUBG again. Again, running on the Xbox build on a PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else? We got to play the 2 Cartoon Network games. Well, Andrew actually played those. Steven Universe and OKKO. I got to play really quick.
Isn't one of those Cappy?
OKKO is. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And then I got
So
to
you
play.
played
Rip
Black
Below.
Desert?
Speaking of
Black
Cappy,
Desert
Online.
was below there again?
I don't know. I saw Nathan.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Below. Probably should have.
You played Ooblets for a bit?
Played Ooblets, which I'm really excited about, from Double Fine, a really cute sort of Harvest Moon Pokemon-esque RPG.
Did you guys do Super Lucky's Tale at all?
I played Super Lucky's Tale on Xbox One X, which was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited
What
for
do you
that
think
game.
of it?
I think I'm excited for it. I think it's cool. I think it releasing in the same breath as Mario Odyssey is a huge mistake.
Oh, really? When is it coming out?
I believe a week
I
before
mean,
Mario
to
Odyssey.
be
my
fair, if
Anything releasing before.
I mean, well, they're on different platforms.
Sure.
And it's like,
Yeah, different
is
audiences.
that really gonna?
a lot more
you know,
people have an Xbox, obviously, than have a Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, the only place you're going to get burned is somebody with both consoles, right? Like,
Yeah, who's not getting Mario
Yeah.
in that situation?
Yeah. But that was cool. Yeah, just checked out the Microsoft booth was pretty huge at the show floor. I saw a bunch of people going hands on with Sea of Thieves for the first time, which
yeah,
is cool.
did they show something else?
No, it was the same thing.
Same
I mean,
same alphabet?
There was so little new. Like they had
Yeah.
Mordor and Assassin's Creed there, but it's all the stuff that's been the last couple of shows. But it's open to the public. So
Yeah, they're
people-
for everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, the end of summer in Early Fall is the worst because you go E3, Gamescom, PAX.
Yeah.
Like,
TGS.
Yeah.
Comic-Con's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what more do you show?
Probably the most impressive thing I saw there, which as of right now isn't coming to consoles, but I think it might at some point, was the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
And the thing that's insane about it is it's Final Fantasy 15 on an iPad, but it's all chibi characters.
Yeah.
But it's just the game, all the
whole
voiceover. It starts with the flash forward, and then it has the car breaking down, and you pushing it to Hammerhead. It has all the VO. It has Stand By Me. Like the first couple missions are the same. Andrew and I played the first 25 minutes, and the entire time we were just like, "How is this real?"
I cannot wait to see the
How
Cup of
is
Noodles
this
mission
real?
in this game.
with the little chibi dudes. Yeah, I hope that comes
gladiators.
to. I hope it comes to consoles because it's just so weird. I don't know how it exists. But I'm glad it does.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, good show.
All right, let's get to the proper news for the week. There's not too much, but the first thing that I wanted to get to is LA Noire. I really liked L.A. Noire when it came out. It was a little divisive. I think most people liked it in general.
Sure.
But there are fair criticisms to be had of L.A. Noire. But I was so enamored with the interrogation system and like having to try and read emotions on faces, and I adored that game. Well, it is coming back. L.A. Noire. Let's see. It's not actually called L.A. Noire Remastered. They're just calling it L.A. Noire for PS4 and Xbox One.
And
It's out November 14th.
soon.
That is coming up.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. The complete original game and all DLC with what Rockstar says is, quote, a range of technical enhancements for greater visual fidelity and authenticity, including enhanced lighting and clouds, high-res textures, and more. Plays natively in 1080 for PS4 and Xbox One, and 4K for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X.
Interesting.
Which, I suppose there's always just the make it backwards compatible for free option, but hey, if it's going to look kick ass on the X,
Yeah.
sure, soup it up, let's go.
Interesting,
Why not?
Interesting time to do it. 6 years later, out of the blue.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. Not a conspiracy theory, but my guess is that maybe the Take-Two / Rockstar executives went, well, yeah, okay, GTA Online's making huge money for us, but we haven't released anything
Yeah.
And Red Dead
in
slipped.
a long time, and Red Dead, is pushed out. So, is there anything we could get out for fourth quarter, which is just such a huge revenue quarter? And maybe they looked at this and went, you know what, we could have a little fun with porting up L.A. Noire.
Especially because L.A. Noire had that, what was it called? Motion scan technology, I think, where they basically just like scanned your face when you're talking,
Yeah, they recorded the actors completely.
The performances in the game are the actors' performances. And I was actually just watching gameplay of it not too long ago, and it looks good. But I wonder if now they're like, well, with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, like how good can those faces look?
Very true.
And like you said, it's one of those things where it matters how good they look because you are reading people's emotions in order as a mechanic in the game. So it is interesting to where like that is the one thing where a visual upgrade could actually mechanically improve the game.
Yes. The open world stuff doesn't quite gel super well with the
especially
with
in comparison to GTA.
Yeah,
like
with the
kinda
investigation
lifeless. Yeah.
and detective gameplay, and the story, in my opinion, kind of falls apart at the end. The end sequence is not great, but I do adore that game, and I'm glad to see it coming back around. What I'm actually more interested in, as someone who's already played L.A. Noire, is there's a VR version coming as well. I know this is an Xbox podcast.
Of course
Just
there
give me a
is.
minute. No, but it's L.A. Noire, the VR case files featuring 7 select cases from the original game, rebuilt specifically for a VR experience on the HTC Vive, which, yes, the Vive is the best, is like technically the best of the VR devices.
Had a
So
recent price drop too.
That's right.
Yeah.
yeah, that should be.
That's really
Yeah,
should
I
be-
think that's
I'm-
interesting just because it's like such a top tier AAA developer getting into VR.
Yeah,
which I think is
that
cool.
exactly.
That's what I
Thank you.
totally think this is an R&D play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like they are
like table tennis style.
Yeah,
honestly,
totally.
yeah.
They're checking out, what they can do with the extra numbers that can crunch their games on the more powerful platforms now, and then testing the waters with VR. I think that's awesome. Like when I first heard this announcement, I couldn't figure out why they were doing it now. I mean, allegedly there was some bad blood between Team Bondi before they dissolved and Rockstar ended up allegedly, again, pumping a bunch of money into the development of it just to see it through to the finish line.
Right.
So I thought maybe this was like an ROI play, like trying to recomp some of that, but it totally makes sense that they're trying to see what the next level of Rockstar development is.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of my favorite VR things have been like these sort of test things from AAA developers. Batman, even like the Dota shopkeeper thing from Valve is. I don't care about Dota, but it was one of the coolest things I've ever done in VR.
Even the Valve's the
portal thing.
The test room.
yeah.
It's like just as an experience.
Yeah,
It's not a
seeing
game,
Gladys that
but
big,
yeah, as an experience, it's super neat.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about this?
I feel like November is a weird time for this. Like I feel like this should have been like a summer thing.
Yeah, but,
I think your
like-
reasoning makes sense, but just like I would have been much more apt to play this had it released in like July.
You got to
I
remember,
mean, when
though,
there's nothing else out
Yeah.
there.
Rockstar is used to other people getting out of their
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So I don't think they're particularly
Yeah,
afraid. In
It just seems like all games lost like now that Destiny's out, I just can't imagine unless it's like Super Mario.
Yeah, but
There's not a lot of games.
There's a lot. Okay, it's a long. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon through the fall. You gotta
It's definitely a sprint for a little bit.
you always feel that way, like the first 3 weeks of a big shooter or a big multiplayer-enabled game. It's like, well, I don't envision myself buying another game this year, you know. And then,
But I
But
also put it
he puts his money where his mouth.
Finnegan played
1,500
hours.
Are you still going to be playing Halo this fall?
Oh
Halo
man,
5?
I mean, yeah, probably. I'm such a huge Halo guy, but honestly, like when I got really into Destiny after House of Wolves, I stopped playing Halo and I was just full on the Destiny train. I imagine that'll be the same thing. Like now that Destiny's out, I'm just going to be on that Destiny train
Until
Death.
Yeah.
It's until death, until the sweet release.
Until 1,500 hours. I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm huge into Halo and I adore that multiplayer so much, but it's one of those games where you really have to you have to play it kind of all the time if you want to keep your skills sharp. I know that when I jump into Destiny and play for a couple months and then come back, I'm so bad at Halo. It's just like,
which is so funny because to me they both feel not the same, not identical, but like of the two shooters on the market, Destiny and Halo feel the most similar.
Well, they have
to
the
each
same
other.
DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, but you're right. They do share a lot of the same qualities, but in terms of the Halo 5 gameplay on a competitive level, like it's so much faster. Like it's a country mile faster than Destiny's gameplay is. Destiny can be like very slow and methodical. It's very ability based.
Sure.
It's not so much like control the weapons and all that stuff like arena gameplay style.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just don't see myself playing much of anything after Destiny this year. Of course, I'll play a ton of Mario. And I made sure to beat Zelda before Destiny came out. So
Planned ahead.
yeah.
Next story I actually forgot to write down, but I'm glad the thought just occurred to me. I wanted to mention the September update for Gears of War 4. We're getting 2 more free multiplayer maps. One's called Mercy, which is from Gears 3, and then Harbor Haze, which is a new map. New achievements, matchmaking improvements. But the thing I wanted to focus on is just giving serious credit to the Coalition, because listen to this. They mention, so next month, October, marks the first anniversary of Gears 4, and the arrival, they'll have 2 more maps next month for a total of 24 new maps, 2 a month for a year.
Pretty wild.
That is so impressive for Gears 4. They said so. In that time they've released 22 additional maps in the first year. It'll be 24, pardon me, for a total of 34 in the game, plus including the ones that shipped with it. Added new multiplayer characters and weapon skins. Delivered new game-changing features, including the competitive lobby, Rise of the Horde, and more. 18 special events across Versus and Horde, including holiday-themed favorites, and 38 new achievements and 1,000 extra gamer score. I mean, that is what a great community
Sounds like they
focus game.
Sounds like they took a page right out of the Halo 5 book.
And we said that before it came out too. Like they had that same sort of like all the maps and content's going to be free, and they have executed on that plan and just deserve a ton of credit. And
It's really impressive.
And I suspect they're going to get a lot of people either coming into Gears 4 for the first time or coming back to it for the first time in a long time when the Xbox One X comes out and they've got their 4K update. And whether they're new or they're people coming back, they're going to be like, holy crap, there is a ton of multiplayer content in this. And I suspect they'll see a well-deserved bump in the player population on that. So just shout out, thumbs up to the Coalition for continuing to support Gears of War 4. That is great, because the calendar would seem to dictate if they're going to be on a 3-year cycle the same way that 343 has been, and I believe still is. Gears 5 is probably not going to be till 2019. Yeah. So I wonder what they'll do for 2018. Be a good question. All right, Crystal Dynamics, makers of Tomb Raider. They are not super secretly on a Marvel Avengers game. And the sleuths at NeoGAF have dug up some job postings that give a little hint as to what this Marvel game might be all about. One posting was looking for a lead level designer focusing on, quote, fun and unique online experiences. And also the job posting mentions an understanding needed for the social implications of shared gameplay, as well as referencing various modes and campaigns. And then there's a combat designer job listing the key thing here is plan, prototype, and build combat systems that directly apply to a third-person cover-based action-adventure game.
Yeah.
That's Destiny. I honestly think this shared open world thing.
Not really cover based.
Well, no, the shared open
cover-based,
world
but
thing.
yeah.
Like this, I think every major publisher is looking at Destiny being like, how do we do that?
Well, I mean,
The Division, Anthem.
Yeah.
What else is already out there?
I mean, that's
this one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I mean, just in general, like the industry is having like there's this kind of tectonic shift towards games as a service where you're looking at the long tail of like gameplay for your audience long beyond the launch of the game, right?
Yeah.
Destiny
love
is
the use of tectonic shift, by the way. That's grade A podcasting right there.
Yeah, like it is a big shift though. Like it used to be that you wanted to get when you put down $60 for a game, you wanted to get 50 or 60 hours of gameplay on it, and on the long end you got maybe 100, and now people are seeing games come out on the market where, like me, I play Destiny 1 for 1,500 hours. Counter-Strike Go, I probably have put 40,000 hours. I have no idea. A little too much in that one.
Yeah, it's probably less than 40,000.
What is it? The Malcolm Gladwell? Is that who, the 10,000 hours thing?
Yeah.
So to be an expert
To be an
that's how you
expert?
master
or a
something.
master.
Yeah.
I'd call myself a master of Counter-Strike.
I bet I think you are.
Yeah, but not even just those, but like Miranda and Brian Albert and Mitch, like those people have 4,000 hours in Dota.
Those
Like
people are
there's
sick in the head, though.
well,
Not disputing that.
yeah, shrug. I think that there's a long like if you can do a game like that well, like the way Valve has done, your whole business model can be around sustaining 2 or 3 large franchises for years and years and years, and you never have to continually upkeep or develop new games, which is a costly endeavor, and you also may swing and miss.
Yeah.
So it's like a big thing. I think this is, I don't know.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned that
future.
because literally in the same post, they say we see games as a service as the future of the industry, and we're going to lean into it hard. And this seems to be the first step of, Square and Crystal, like, trying to get into that racket, like Activision. Like you just said, Activision's got Destiny, Call of Duty, and up until recently Skylanders as really like their 3 main pillars.
Well, plus all the Blizzard stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Now that Activision and Blizzard are part of the same umbrella company. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's smart, to create a game with legs like that. I don't know how you put the Avengers in a third-person cover game because
Yeah,
that doesn't seem to me like the right vehicle for the Avengers. Like 3 of them can fly. The Hulk just basically runs through stuff,
Well, and that's why you segue right into my next point, which is that's why you put Crystal Dynamics on it, which is arguably the top Western talent that Square Enix has. And so you wonder, okay, well, what about Tomb Raider then? Because that franchise is clearly one that's alive and well. And if you remember, I'm sure we talked about it on this podcast, but it was some months back on BART, somebody like photographed over their laptop over some dude's shoulder, and it suggested that the name of the next Tomb Raider game is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it's being handled out of Eidos Montreal, which would make a ton of sense. Like they were, put them on. They're a proven developer, but Crystal's, like I said, arguably your top talent. Put them because you put your top talent on the Marvel thing because you want to make a kick-ass product to show Marvel to say, hey, look what we're doing with the contract that we have with you. Please keep giving us that contract so we can all make tons more money.
And it's always risky doing new IPs too. So you really want
true.
that to be your marquee kind
That is true.
talent. Is Crystal a 2-team studio or 1-team?
To my knowledge, which is only having visited there for Tomb Raiders, I mean, I think they were, at least with the last 2 Tomb Raider games, it was one team all on one game. But it's
I have a feeling they've
possible
grown quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next this week, mouse and keyboard support. Some people have been looking for this on the Xbox One. It is still happening. Mike Ibarra, of course, one of the platform leads on the dev side at Microsoft on the Xbox team, he says keyboard and mouse support is definitely coming. And he says that Microsoft will, quote, coach developers, making sure they give players the choice in competitive games of whether they're playing against users with controllers or with keyboards, which sounds like a super smart way to head off a lot of problems, which, old guys like me will remember back to the Shadowrun experiment on the Xbox 360, where it was actually cross-platform play between Windows and 360, and we did a feature once at OXM. We had PC Gamer and Dan Stapleton and his magazine down the hall on the PCs and us on the 360s, and they wiped the floor with us. And we're probably all of generally similar skill. Yeah. But yeah, when you've got mouse and keyboard against gamepads, it's generally not going to end well for the gamepad folks. So
except for one time in a tournament where Alfredo's controller team on Xbox, they won the E3 tournament. Do you guys remember that? Like in 2015, they played against...
I believe it. Alfredo's awesome at video games.
They also were so hardcore into Titanfall, but they entered a PC tournament
and played with
controllers and won.
Wow!
And everyone was like, "Who are these guys?" It's pretty insane.
Awesome. Who are these guys? Yeah. I think this is awesome, man. Detecting inputs and letting you choose who you play against is the first step to true crossplay, I think.
Yeah, Gears 4 does that, has opt-in matchmaking because the same thing where there's the PC version. You can choose first they had it where you could only cross-play in Horde where you're working together.
Yeah.
And then they had opt-in competitive matchmaking, with
filters for peripherals.
Exactly. Yeah. Smart way to go. And that seems like hopefully Microsoft's just going to, I hope they won't coach developers. I hope they'll straight up require that.
Yeah.
That would be the way
agree.
I'd like to see it go.
I'm interested to see how Microsoft addressed some of the challenges in this, because it's totally a thing that's really in line with their philosophy. Like Phil's talked about how he kind of wants to unify Xbox and PC as one platform, right? Making Xbox Live available on PC and vice versa, cross-play, cross-save, all of that. I'm so on board with it. But there are situations where mouse and keyboard on consoles has become problematic, like in Overwatch. I don't know if you guys are if any of you are Overwatch players, but in order to be competitive on console, you have to use Zim 4, which is this adapter you can go buy on Amazon. It's $150, but it allows you to plug mouse and keyboard into it and then connect that to your Xbox and essentially allow the console to recognize a controller, but it's a mouse and keyboard. And now players who use that are at such a huge advantage over other controller players, and there's literally no way for Blizzard or the dev or the client to detect that peripheral.
But Microsoft could, and Sony could.
Yeah, so I think it takes
firmware updates.
That's why I'm interested in how do they address those challenges, because we're looking down the barrel of that exact same thing right now on Destiny. People who want to use mouse and keyboard to be competitive on PC can now acquire aim assist by using Zim, because Destiny has aim assist support for controllers. So if you play with a controller on PC, you get aim assist, which is obviously a huge advantage competitively. But if you want to play with PC and get the more sort of nuanced and tactile feel of mouse and keyboard, but also get the aim assist, you can use the Zim thing, and there's no way to detect it. Yeah. And that's a huge imbalance in competitive play. So I would love to see Microsoft and Sony come forward and be like, we want to bring mouse and keyboard. This is how we're going to address these third-party products that may cause imbalances in the competitive landscape.
Which is crazy, because a lot of games are developed specifically for their platform. How many times has Kaplan gone on the record saying a skill that works on McCree and PC does not work the same on McCree in Xbox? So now you have the precision of PC with the forgiveness of the whatever the console balance. Yeah,
which has led to that big problem on the Overwatch community, which is every high level Sean Pitts out there. Mm-hmm. Very, very high-level Overwatch player on console has to play with mouse and keyboard, has that Zim adapter, because there's no way you can play against players like that on console and expect to be competitive with a controller.
That sucks.
I find that to be that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey Barr notes, quote, you'll see our first game supporting keyboard and mouse soon. I wonder if they will...
Destiny 2?
Go, the Age of Empires.
That's a really good point.
They announced it for PC, but I wonder if this certainly would open the door.
We've solved the RTS on console problem. Just use a keyboard.
Use a mouse and a keyboard. Exactly. All right, finally this week, Treyarch's Call of Duty. It's their turn next year. We've got Call of Duty World War II getting ready to ship here in exactly 2 months. And which boy, that reminds me. We've seen almost nothing of the campaign, but I'm actually happy about that.
Yeah,
Like I saw
same.
it behind closed doors at E3, and they showed a really cool, very cool segment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of hope I don't see any more
Yeah.
of it until I actually sit down and play it. That would be a nice
totally.
change. Anyway, so Treyarch's on deck for next year. And I've said before, like I kind of feel like, the Black Ops sub-franchise seems to have run its course. There have been 3 of them. Like, are you really going to do Black Ops 4? And it sounds like probably not. So this is Eric Hirschberg, the CEO of Activision. He says, I think with the benefit of hindsight, he was talking to Game Informer, so credit to them there, says we can all, with the benefit of hindsight, we can all agree we might have had one more future game than we needed. He also indicates that internally, the feeling was right that it was time to, quote, return to the series' roots by bringing the games back to their original setting. I'm going to throw in a boots on the ground for Marty.
I knew it was coming.
He didn't actually say it. I just did. So.
Monster.
When pressed on the future direction of the series, Hirschberg is understandably cagey, but doesn't rule out a return to the franchise's advanced warfare settings, citing the ever-changing nature of the games industry and the series itself. He's more firm, however, on the prospect of future historical games, citing the, quote, very rich territory provided by World War II and historical settings in general, and referring to it as an area that could be explored, quote, more than once. So he sure seems to be telegraphing the idea that Treyarch will be going back in time as well.
Yeah.
Totally misunderstood what you meant when you said on the prospect of future historical games. I was like, what is a future historical game? And I was thinking like BioShock.
We've got to go back to the future.
Yeah, like I was thinking like BioShock, like alternate, like kind of future versions of the 50s and stuff. And then I was like, no, he just means upcoming games. Got it. I'm on the same page with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense.
Welcome to the show, Sean.
Yeah.
Clearly, the Treyarch's game is in development, so it's already whatever it is what it is. But I just think this year compared to last year, the reception to World War II compared to Infinite Warfare has been so much better. I mean, Infinite Warfare was the trailer was like the most downvoted video just because the internet can be dumb sometimes.
Well, but that to be fair, that was because of the Call of Duty 4 Remaster forced bundle.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't just because the game was set in the future.
But people also
I don't know.
made the trailer.
I think there was a little bit. I think people were fatigued, and with Battlefield 1 debuting right around the same time, I think people were like, "This, we want to go back to this. We missed this." And so I think generally, I think the Call of Duty World War II reception's been pretty good.
Yeah,
everyone who's played it has dug it.
Oh
I think
yeah,
people are really. I'm super excited for the
I'm
campaign.
more excited about this Call of Duty than I have been in literally years.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think Black Ops is done. Honestly,
You don't think so?
I don't either.
I think the cachet of that name is huge. I
You
think
think maybe the
Bobby will tell you, Call of Duty #1 super fan
Yeah.
out there will tell you Black Ops is far and away the most like profitable and best of the whole series.
Yeah.
He rates it higher overall than like Modern Warfare.
So Black Ops 1 was sort of Cold War, sort of Vietnam.
It was.
it had a couple
sort of-
time periods.
It was told through a
yeah.
series of time periods.
Do you think you think there will be Black Ops 4, but it will?
I think
it
go
will
back.
The era will go back in time.
Totally.
I can see that.
Cold
I
War,
hope so.
Vietnam. Yeah, that would differentiate it enough from this year because it would be by moving it 20, 30 years into the future from World War II. I think you have much different technology.
Or
Go ahead.
totally do it like the way they did the first Black Ops, which is my favorite Call of Duty of all
really
time.
good.
Both multiplayer and campaign, I loved it. Which is, the first chapter takes place in the 30s, the next in the 60s, with next in the 70s.
Yeah.
I get behind that.
Because I could totally. I mean, we had so many World War II games from Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, World at War. I know.
Red one. Yeah.
Big Red 1. Oh, that was
That was a World War II game.
Was that Medal of Honor or was that Call of Duty?
That was Call of Duty.
That's Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on original Xbox and PS2.
Right.
Right when there's at the same time Call of Duty 2 came out for 360. 2005.
I know things are cyclical, but I would love not to do another 4 years in the World War II theater.
I agree with that. I think variety is key at this point. Like
Especially when we have 3 teams working on things. Like
Exactly.
Yeah. 3 years.
Yeah, let's mix it up. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not mix it up and keep players sort of
I think that
offering something new?
I think the problem was that Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare, and Infinite Warfare all felt a little too samey.
Yes.
Also,
no doubt.
they stripped it away from what I think Call of Duty is best at, which is
Boots on the ground.
boots on the ground, gun angles, lines of sight,
Yeah.
setting up traps, and then you have your futuristic versions of the game, which turned it into basically an arena shooter, de facto arena shooter, where you bounce off the walls and like double, triple jump, and then do a power slide, and then use your exoskeleton to punch someone's head off.
Dangerously close to like Unreal Tournament there for a little bit.
So in 3 years, when it's Sledgehammer's turn again, are we going to get Call of Duty World War II 2?
World War II 2. Yeah.
2.2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's Ballerina.
Yeah,
Let's do the
Ballerina.
Oh, I got it.
Already knows what's up.
Yeah.
Watch the video. YouTube.com/IGN Unlocked for some gold you won't want to miss. All right. So that's it for the news this week. I'm going to go to Brandon Tyrell.
Hey, what's up?
What can we spend our money on out there this week? I mean,
Wow.
we know what everyone is spending their money on, but what else is out there?
I mean, there's this little thing called Destiny 2 that just came out this week. You might want to pick that up on
AKA Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
Did you see
They're so bad today.
Did you see the social photos of everyone like lining up outside of GameStops to get Destiny 2?
That still happens?
Yeah, I
I
was
haven't seen something like that in
actually
a while.
blown away. Like someone linked
You were
me-
literally blown away.
Yeah.
I guess
You are no longer wearing
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they do that for the Switch and all that too, and
But that makes
that's
sense.
hardware.
Like,
You can't get
hardware. Yeah. Hardware, that makes sense. But
You can't just download hardware at home.
yeah, I found it
What?
perplexing.
hey, I have a 3D printer.
There's people out there, like huge lines outside of GameStop of people like blasting Destiny music off their like little Bluetooth speakers.
Crunchy
being like,
cello?
I'm so hyped.
Close enough.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Cool.
That
use
was
the
not
internet.
a cello by any means. Hey, all right. If you're not into Destiny 2, you can also pick up Pillars of Eternity, the complete edition.
Which is supposed to be excellent, by the way.
Yeah.
This got an 8.5, this specifically for the console version, but on IGN.com. So it's supposed to be excellent.
Yeah, as a huge fan of Diablo, I still play it almost weekly on the PC. I love it on the console as well, but I've never checked out Pillars of Eternity, so I might actually do that now. Digitally, you can get Squish and the Corrupted Crystal for $15,
Or you don't have to.
or you don't have to.
Optional.
You can get Don't Knock Twice.
Or don't.
Don't even bother knocking once.
Eurofishing, Urban Edition plus Season Pass.
Yes, there is a Eurofishing video game that has a season pass, friends.
Also, it's an Urban Edition.
This is how far we've fallen.
What is that like?
Is that like a
Fishing in people's pools? and
flooded
stuff?
area?
Like in my back.
Bathtub fishing.
Yeah. What is the urban edition?
Eurofishing
All of these-
storm season.
These are all so dumb sounding.
Yeah, all right, we're going to just tear through this. Blood Bowl 2 Legendary Edition for $45. Songbringer, which actually looks like a really rad indie game.
Yeah, it's like it's a Zelda-like, but like procedural.
I haven't played it yet, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited to jump into that.
Yet either.
$20 for that. White Noise 2, which I've never even heard
Which is
of,
what this segment is right now.
is $10. Echoes of the Fae, the Fox's Trail. Excuse me.
Let's rename that right away.
Echoes of the Fae, the Fox's Trail. Okay, is
This has got to be a furries game, right?
$8.
It's got to be one of those games.
No, that is the Fox's Tail.
Oh,
That's the
that's-
furry version.
Oh no.
And then lastly, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Episode 1 is $6.
Cool.
I'm gonna play that.
People hate that Chloe.
I like
Not
I like
Chloe
real
Rad.
Chloe.
Not
Works
our
at IGN.
Chloe, the
She's
game's Chloe.
She's a treasure. September games with gold. Let's just knock these out real quick. Forza Motorsport 5 Racing Game of the Year Edition is available on your Xbox
It's
One
free. You should play this game if you have not played it. It is a wonderful car game.
all month long from the 1st through the 30th of September. Oxenfree, which I know everyone has very high opinions of.
Big fan.
September 16th through the middle of next month, October 15th.
Sean's not gonna be able to play it because it's not Destiny.
That's
on your-
right.
on your
Yep.
Xbox
Miss
One.
out on
Prepare
free goodness.
prepare for raid by playing Oxenfree.
Do what I do and fill up an external hard drive
You
with
want-
games that you never play.
If you want me to play your games this fall, name it Destiny 2.
All right. Hydro Thunder Hurricane.
Hydra Thunder, Hydra White.
Not only is it available from the 1st to the 15th, but it's
Rock you
topical.
like a Hydro Thunder Hurricane.
And that's available on X1 and X360. And lastly, Battlefield 3, if you haven't played it yet,
What?
is available from the 16th through the 30th on both the 1 and the 360.
What?
It's free.
Weird.
so.
Yeah, that's
Weird.
like 3 Battlefields ago, 2
Several.
Battlefields ago.
Yeah, because there was 4. There was Hardline
There's 4, Hardline,
Battlefield
and
1.
one.
and 1.
Do you think it's confusing?
Also a weird
4
naming
Battlefields ago.
convention.
Do you think it's do you think it's confusing that people
guess-
look at the marketplace and they're like Battlefield 3, and then look at right next and it's like Battlefield 1, and that one's like
Yes.
way,
I think it's
way newer.
I think it's incredibly confusing.
Why is one more expensive?
I
Yeah.
think in video
Wait,
games, words don't matter
Battlefield
anymore.
1 is newer.
That's why Nintendo can come out and be like, "Hey, Kentucky Route Zero is a Switch exclusive," and then Annapurna has put out a press release being like, "No, it's not. It's coming to everything else.
I think, unfortunately, in all of society, words
Don't mean
matter
anything.
anymore,
Yeah,
so.
it's a launch exclusive. What does that mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Let's play.
Thank you.
Let's play Unlock Block Trivia.
Freed from your.
You can give Destin some swollen blood vessels in his
Jesus.
head.
Did he get it right? How did
He did.
How did he do last
he
week?
picked up a point last
What was the
week.
question last week?
I don't know. I tried to make it. It was kind of a layup last week.
Do you remember what it was?
No.
Okay.
I can't remember what yesterday had.
Also, Destin's on 42 hours of Destiny 2 right now, so I guarantee you the blood vessels in his head have already burst.
That's true. That's true. So our question comes to us from Braxton Buckley from Flower Mound, Texas. His gamer tag is B2 and he asks this question, which I have no idea about, so I cannot sit here and say that I would have got this one right. In the Adam Sandler remake of The Longest Yard, what original Xbox game were the guards playing in the locker room?
I mean,
There's a lot to unpack here.
Cinematic classic.
first of all,
Longest
Braxton,
Yard.
we need to
So,
talk about
we're
your
talking
Adam Sandler
The
movie.
Unlocked crew.
Are we talking about Fable, Red Dead Revolver, Halo 2, or Ninja Gaiden? Who's got guesses?
I'm guessing Halo 2. I don't know the answer to this. I hate this question.
Yeah, Halo 2. I'm assuming that's the game with the most visual market.
It'd be really weird if a bunch of prison cops were playing Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah.
Is that what prison guards are? Prison cops.
I don't know. I don't want to say Halo 2 though, because I also was about to guess Halo 2, but I want to be different, and I'm going to say Ninja Gaiden.
All right. You should have gone with your guy. Yeah, it was Halo 2.
Figure.
I can't imagine an Adam Sandler movie where they're playing an Itagaki game. But also, as I mentioned before we recorded, there is an Adam Sandler 9/11 movie called Reign Over Me where he plays Shadow of the Colossus a bunch. So, like words, nothing matters anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is life?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. If you would like to take a shot at stumping the panel here, please send your Xbox trivia question to unlocked@ign.com. I need your name, optionally your gamer tag if you would like it shared out, as well as 4 multiple choice answers. Please note the correct one.
Also, your social security card.
Not that. No.
Mother's maiden name.
Nope.
The street
Don't
you were
need
born
that
on.
either.
Nope.
It's fine.
Oh, man.
It's all fine.
First pet.
Just the stuff I said.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's hit the road. I remind you, you can get an ad-free IGN experience via IGN Prime, so no ads on videos or on the IGN.com desktop. Go to IGN.com/Prime for more details there. It's $30 for a 1-year subscription if you're interested in that. You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. I've got, no reviews at the moment, but I mentioned this last week. I'll mention it again. Randy Pitchford was my guest for IGN Unfiltered this month. We had an hour-and-a-half chat and only covered half of the subjects I wanted to get to. So he flew back here the next week and we shot the rest of it. So that's the part 2. Look for that next month because people are like, well, did you ask about aliens? Like, yeah, part 2. But this first part covers a whole bunch of ground. So please check that out on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, the IGN YouTube channel, IGN.com, or it's also up as a podcast on iTunes as well. Sean?
Follow me on Twitter at ShopByFinnegan. Gonna be doing some Destiny features. Also, take a look at all of our PAX content. A lot of good stuff there.
A lot of stuff.
I have had questions about, real quick before I get to you two gentlemen, if there's going to be an unlocked Destiny 2 group, like a clan on Xbox.
Oh.
The IGN clan already exists.
Is it all Fire Team chat?
What do you mean?
Is it all done? Is it a Fire Team chat group?
I think
No,
it's
it's like
just
IGN.
the
Oh, it's just
IGN.
an IGN
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it how many characters are there? Yeah, totally out of curiosity for the tag.
What do you mean characters? Like,
Like
how long
number
can
of letters?
Clan?
Yeah.
I don't actually know, but it is just ours is just IGN.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So that exists.
And they actually have unified clans now across PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So like me and
Nice.
Destin we're all in the same clan, but we play on different platforms. So
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. So look that up if you're interested.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. It's just my name, BRANDYNTYRREL.
Did you say YN?
I did.
I heard that as well.
Did you misspell
spelled your name.
Spelled my own name.
You just Game of Thrones your own
I
Game
was
of Thrones
leading.
name.
All right, let me unpack this.
You went
I
a
was-
little too fast.
I was leading up to the last name, and I'm like, I know how to spell my first name. That's not a big deal. Apparently,
so
that's not
funny.
true. So take two. BRANDINTYRREL.
Man, that's weird. And I forgot how old I was for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
That actually happened. He's
that did
not
happen.
kidding.
Yeah, no,
That
seriously.
really
That
happened.
wasn't great.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. Let's see, we just finished up a bunch of IGN First stuff. If you're a fan of Assassin's Creed, you can go check that out.
Go.ign.com/AC Origins has everything that Brandon
Literally
and the team
the
did.
entire month of content, and there's a
ton of
lot of good
Origins
stuff in
is
there.
ORGY.
Oh man, I almost swore right now. I caught it. And then we also just put up the first piece of this month's IGN First, which is Code Vein.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
And you can get to that at go.ign.com/Code Vein.
If you like Dark Souls, you're going to want to
do.
pay attention to Code Vein.
Yeah.
Will.
To our coverage.
Or anime vampires.
Like all of those.
Go check it out.
Empire D? You kidding me? There's an anime
Is that
vampire.
a penis reference?
It's not a penis reference.
it was.
Vampire Hunter D is a very famous anime. It has nothing to do with penises.
I just wanted to see you squirm.
I like talking about penises. It's
was
great.
about to make a
You can
lewd
follow
joke.
me at Mick Biggity. And like I mentioned earlier, check out our YouTube channel for those Let's Plays, youtube.com/IGN Unlocked. Subscribe. The first one is Alana and I playing Hello Neighbor. And I get caught in several bear traps. And
and
swear.
I'm recording one with you today?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Destiny one.
Yes.
What do you know?
Oh, I get to record a Knack 2 one later.
Not for the IGN, not for the
No, we're putting it
Unlocked
up. We're
channel.
putting it up on Unlocked. We're gonna put it on the NBC channel.
Why not?
Yeah, there's nothing matters anymore.
Yeah.
Words
That's
don't
right,
matter.
that's right. We're
Brandon doesn't know how to spell his own name.
Yeah, seriously.
Exclusive isn't exclusive.
How many I's and Y's are in McBiggity, just so I know?
Oh, man. For Marty, Brandon, and Sean, I'm Ryan. This was Unlocked episode, 312 already. We'll be back for a palindrome next week.